Are you happy in your business? Now, I have had my share of emotional ups and downs in my 20 years of being a solo entrepreneur coach. And the patterns I've seen in myself and in my clients is that those downs are usually when I was personally feeling unfulfilled. Sometimes it was because a launch that flopped, and sometimes it was just life and had nothing to do with business. But those ups, oh boy, those are the times when I was feeling my most authentic and completely aligned to my purpose, or when I just felt like I was rocking that work-life balance. I would be thinking I could do this all day long and never feel tired. One of my loves is sharing what works for me and what has been working for my clients to achieve this very feeling, full of passion, happiness, peace, and freedom. So I decided to create a private podcast for coaches. Maybe you just want to develop better communication skills that boosts engagement, leads to better results, and makes you feel like you're actually making a difference in the lives of the people you serve. Then you're invited too. We talk about this and more in the UBU private podcast for coaches. Whether you're a mentor, a parent, or run a client-focused business, coaching skills benefit everyone and anyone who wants to communicate in a way that builds relationships. Fall in love with your life and business again. Click the link in the show notes for your invitation to join us right now. Then come back and enjoy this episode. Hey, difference maker! You might be asking yourself, can I be a coach? Or if you're already a coach, maybe your question is, can I be a better coach? Either way, the answer is yes, you can. And the world needs coaches like you who want to make an impact in people's lives. Now, coaching is a skill set, just like playing the guitar or singing. And although some people have natural talent, our brains and bodies have an amazing ability to learn new skills. I mean, you didn't come out of the womb knowing how to walk or talk, and you didn't do that overnight, right? So, what qualifies you as a coach? Well, that is what this episode is all about. And stick around to the end because, of course, I'll have a free download for you that you can reference that basically summarizes everything so you don't have to stop the car to take notes. So, you think you can coach? Why, yes, you can. It's time to stop comparing yourself to others and plug in to what is uniquely you. Welcome to Unbox Your Personality, the podcast for coaches, parents, and mentors like you who understand that your happiness makes you more effective at what you do, bringing out the best in others. I'm Jen Higgins, personality strategist and Enneagram fluff remover. Get laser focused on who you are and who you aren't, so you're free to make the impact you were born to make. And have fun doing it. Your personality is your business. So let's get down to business. I used to call myself a coach before I was actually a certified coach. Now, how can I do that? Is that even legit? Well, you know how there are certain regulations around job titles, like I can't call myself a doctor without having a certification that says I went to school, I got an education, and I did the work, and I passed the tests to prove that I can implement what I learned at school. And even teachers, they have educational and experience requirements that they've got to go through before they can legitimately teach the second grade or at a university. But then there are also self-proclaimed teachers, right? And by the way, they're just as legit. And let me give you an example. You don't have to have a music degree to teach piano. You just need to know how to play the piano, at least more than your students, right? Anybody watch This Is Us? Like, look at Kate Pearson, or Damon, I suppose. Who knows, right? That season finale, totally leaves you hanging, doesn't it? Oh my gosh. Well, I digress. Kate doesn't actually go to college at all, much less have a degree in music. And she used to work in a record shop. And she did get a gig here and there on the show. But in the last season, this past season, she lands a job as a music aide and pretty much took over the job and made the class a huge success. And she was so great at teaching those students that her boss won't let her leave the job. Sorry if that was spoilers, but I don't think I gave away too much. But my point being is that self-proclaimed coaches can be coaches in the same way and still be a great coach. So if I was a self-proclaimed coach, why did I even bother to get certified? Well, here's my story. There came a point where I had way too many clients where these boundary lines were blurry. Like I would give advice that I thought they needed. I taught them strategies that worked for me and my business for them to emulate. And it wasn't working. Sessions went too long. Energy vampires sucked me dry. And for some clients, they just weren't getting anywhere. Even though they desperately wanted to, and they agreed with what I was teaching them, and they thought my strategies were amazing, and they were even doing the work, but they were still so stuck. And I questioned myself, what is wrong with me that I can't help them? And here's what I've learned. The answer is because it isn't my job to help them. It's my job as their coach to guide them. They have to help themselves because they are the ones who have control over their life and their life choices. That was a skill set that I didn't have. Learning pure coaching skills helps you get your client from point A to point B on their own. Now, if you think back when people were being transported by stagecoaches, the coach was just the vehicle. It was the vehicle that the passenger chose to travel with. They could have walked to point B, but it's faster and more comfortable or whatever to hire a coach instead of walking. But it's important to understand that the coach's destination was the passenger's destination. At the same time, the coach didn't just jump the curb and drive through somebody's yard, right? I don't think they had curbs back then, but you get what I'm saying. No, there are roads and there are paths to follow. And especially if you want the ride to be more comfortable and more productive and less risky. Like you don't want to go through someone's yard, break a horse's leg, or cross a legal boundary, right? And sometimes that road or that path was long and winding and it just has to be endured. And you have the protection of a coach that is helping you through that. And sometimes your client chooses the scenic route, and that's okay too. And then other times you discover there's a shortcut. And we all love shortcuts, right? But it's the passenger that hires the coach. So it's the passenger that dictates the direction and the destination. The coach is just the guide. So I chose to get certified to be a coach so that I can hone my guiding skills. All those coaching skills, they fall under the 3 S's of coaching that you've heard me talk about in a previous episode. And those 3 S's are space, structure, and solutions. And when you get certified with the pure coaching skills, that biggie sizes your ability to make an impact with your clients. Now, because most coaches are blended coaches, meaning they might also be a consultant or a teacher or a therapist, all that means is that they have their own expertise plus the skill set of pure coaching. Let me give you an example. A running coach, okay? A running coach has an expertise in running and the coaching skill set to help his clients go from couch to 5K, right? But I want to talk about titles. What is the difference between the title of a coach and a title of a consultant or a teacher or a counselor or a therapist or even a friend, right? Now, I want to say this before I get irate DMs later on in the week about my job descriptions I'm getting ready to give. Please know that I am oversimplifying these job descriptions so that I can point out the differences between those jobs and the jobs of a coach. But because most of us are a blend, the art of pure coaching has been lost or diluted. So please just bear with me with the oversimplifications for now. Let's start with a consultant. Why do you go to a consultant? You go to a consultant for their expertise. You pay a consultant for his or her advice, and then they send you a bill. So what a pure consultant doesn't do, they don't teach, they don't ask deep, thought-provoking questions. They may not even ask any questions. For example, a SEO consultant. They go in with their expertise. They tell you what you need to fix on your website. And if they are a technician, then they would also do it for you. And for me, for this example, this is great because I don't necessarily want to understand SEO. I don't need somebody to teach that to me, but I do know it benefits me. So I pay a consultant to tell me what to do, and then I go delegate it to my husband. Or I pay a technician to do that for me. But they don't need to tell me how to do it or why they're doing it. I just want them to do it, right? And that's what I pay them. That's what I pay them for. When can a consultant or a technician benefit from coaching skills? Well, here's a real life example. I had a graphics person that designed some brand images for me. And I told her what I wanted via an online questionnaire. But the next thing I knew, she was sending me images and a bill. I never once spoke to this person. I never once had to clarify any of what I said on the questionnaire. That's a lot of pressure, by the way, to get it right on the questionnaire. But with coaching skills, she would have been able to create that space, structure, and solutions with me. And maybe she wouldn't have wasted her time or my money coming up with images that I'm never going to use. So what's the difference between a coach and a teacher? Okay, well, you go to a teacher, again, for their expertise. But it's so that you can learn what they know. So the skills of a pure teacher is to be able to transfer their knowledge or their ability to others, to their students. And sometimes you might see people use the word teacher and coach interchangeably, but they are not the same. Now, a teacher can be a coach and a coach can be a teacher, but they are different. Now, what about counselor or a therapist? So you go to a counselor or a therapist to work through a current issue that you might be having, like something needs healing or restoration, like marriage counseling. Or like when I broke my leg, I went to a physical therapist. So you pay them to ask you questions, and then they listen as you talk it out. They ask about pain points, and then they provide you exercises for you to do in order to work all that out. Well, that kind of sounds a lot like coaching, doesn't it? Why isn't that coaching? Well, I actually did break my leg a couple of years ago, like 6 years ago. And when I went to my physical therapist, his job was to help get me back to a functioning level. I broke my leg. I wanted to be able to walk again. But once I was able to walk, I was discharged. But what if I wanted to go beyond that? Say I wanted to run a 5K. My therapist isn't going to help me do that. I need a coach. I need a running coach to create that space and structure and solutions with me so that I can get to that next level for my leg. Now, when I hire a coach, I'm the client and I'm the expert of me, not my coach. It's not the coach's position to be the expert, but to guide the expert, which is the client. A coach's job is to help the client explore inside of themselves for higher solutions for a better future of possibilities and to be able to thrive, not just survive, not just function, but to become a better expert of themselves. And this is why understanding your personality and who you are at your core is so important. Now, those are two different things, by the way, your personality and your core. But you as the client, it sure would bypass a lot of I don't knows when you understand your personality, when you do understand your core, how you're motivated, what your strengths are, and the things that you value. And you as the coach, understanding those things helps you stay centered so that the energy in the session isn't muddied with any subconscious agendas that you might be bringing into the room, like I was doing before I got certified. Now, not only are my clients happier because they make progress in each of their sessions, but I'm happier knowing that now I'm empowering them. I'm empowering them to be themselves instead of just creating a clone of me. Now, once you learn the skill set of peer coaching, you're going to be blending that with your own expertise and your business model. And then boom, you just helped yourself really stand out in your field just by adding another set of skills. So when you hire me, you're not only getting an Enneagram or personality teacher, but you're also getting a coach that guides you in implementing what you already know about yourself or what you're learning about yourself to help you get to your point B in your business. And let's face it, in your life too, because those two things blend as well, right? But I don't want you to just get there. I want you to get there happier. Now, if you have your own niche expertise that you want to use to help others by coaching them to their potential, to their greatness, I strongly suggest that you learn the skill set of creating space, structure, and solutions with your clients, even if you don't officially get certified. So I've got a free download for you at powercoachjen.com/extras that lists the critical core skills that every coach should have, like being able to maintain your centered presence, building rapport with your clients so that they feel safe and they feel validated, and others that will be on that list. But if you're interested in more than that, like learning how to integrate the wisdom of the Enneagram and the skill set of peer coaching into your expertise or field, like for me, my expertise is building business relationships and becoming inspiring leaders, I would love to welcome you to the UBU Coach Certification Program. The current students are a little over halfway through the curriculum, and they are loving it. And frankly, I am too. But here's what they've had to say about the program so far. Leah says, it's a completely different approach, and none of it is fluff. Chris says, Jen's an Enneagram maestro, and she had some insights that I have never seen about the types, perspective, and process. And when I asked Chris about the value of a coach who can coach skillfully, this is what he said. My opinion is it makes all the difference in the experience that the client has. I've dealt with coaches that tell everything and really don't give opportunity for self-discovery. For me, the coaches that have made the most profound impact on my life are those that know how to ask questions and hold space for you while you do some work inside. And have a listen to what Bella has experienced in the program.
I actually love Jen's style. I love the way that she's so energetic and playful and fun. It's a lot of value in the sense of really getting an in-depth view of all of the numbers, all of the types, all of the subtypes, all of the nuances that goes behind making decisions and the motivations and everything else in between. And she also plays with Legos. The visuals and the examples have been extremely helpful for me to picture what exactly the concept is. And she has so many amazing concepts that it really helps me in my day-to-day life as well as in my coaching. I love everybody in the class, and Jen just really keeps up the energy level and keeps us on our toes. It's fun. It's fun and exciting, and I can't wait for each class.
Oh, I love it. I love Bella. I love the other students that are in the class, and I told her that one made me blush. But enrollment's going to be opening soon for the next round, so get on the wait list today so that you can be one of the first to know all of the details. Coaching is a skill set that equips you with the tools to create space, structure, and solutions with your clients so that they can unbox themselves. Because we know when they can unbox themselves, they can unleash their power. Thank you for listening, subscribing, and reviewing the Unbox Your Personality podcast. To learn more about yourself, go to powercoachjen.com. Find out how you are different so you can make your difference.